Hello, all, and welcome to the weekly podcast. I'm your host, Gurtej Atwal, and I have my host, Harpreet Gariwal, with me today. Harpreet, please let us know what's our topic of discussion for today.
Thank you, Gurpreet, for having me with you on the show again. So, yep, we are back again with the new topic, new things which we talk about, like whatever goes on in our near and nearby, like whatever we see. So, based on that, we try to pick the topics whichever is like more concerned and which we need to more give the knowledge to all the people. So today we have a felony reports like whatever is going on in the US. It's not that what are the things which we are seeing on a daily basis. So we are going to talk about the felony funnel and whatever is felonies and crime report in US.
No, thank you very much, Harpreet. So, the things are very much increasing: murder, rape, robbery, assault, burglary. The drug things are very much increasing throughout the globe, but especially we are seeing them in developed countries as well. There is a misconception that these things are more in developing countries, but developed countries, they are very much impacted and affected by these all the things. So we will see how these things are in our society. We will get a little bit educated so that we can put our share as a responsible citizen to see why these things are happening and how we can add value to stop them.
Exactly. As you said, Gurdev, so like we when we said we are developed countries, we know we have everything which is a basic need of the known people, like common people. But still when we see the records and all those things going around us, like nowadays we know that what is going on. The crime rate is still increasing. When you went through over this like murder, rape, robbery, assault, and all those things, they are keep on getting increased. Being a developed country, we as a normal human or as normal citizen, we think that it should go down with the time. Like we should not see all those things, but still there is no kind of period on those things. It keep on increasing with a different kind, different kind of crimes keep increasing. As we see the record in the screen, like murder is increasing, rape and all those things. They still are. We are not getting into those things. The numbers are not getting low still.
Right. No, absolutely, Harpreet. So now we'll see a little bit like the felony arrests. So how these things are happening, like violent crimes are very much happening in all the families, irrespective of the race. Because nowadays, what we see, especially with the recession, COVID era, nowadays we are seeing it, but it was happened in 2010 also, in 2000s also, when there was a dot-com recession. So whenever there is a recession, governments have to play more part to stop family violences or the crimes that happens in families. So the property crimes also increase nowadays. In every city we see there is a theft with the car or some of the equipments that are related to the vehicles that are being stolen. So some cities, they don't have efficient law enforcement, or the population is very much increasing, law enforcement is not increasing at that pace. So
Which
the
is right.
government, local as well as federal, they have to be on the same page to help citizens so that their properties, their equipments, they are safe.
So yep, they're very true. Like as we said that we when we are if we talk about the recent last year since COVID started, so we are seeing the jobs are gone. People don't have a job. They don't have enough income and income source gone down, and they need to survive. Even government is doing their jobs like to pay them minimal things whatever way they need to survive and all those things, but still the crime rate is not gone down with that as well. If we take a look from since 1980 to 2015, like it was a lot of the changes is happening like since 1980. The total, if you see in the total number of crime was 13.4 million, but if you go dig down like 2015 it was 9.9. It is decreasing but not at the rate which it should be, because we are developing more faster, like we are growing faster, but we are not trying to control everything with that. We are just keep on doing the things which is like needed for sure for the country, but that is not only the thing which we need to keep a look while we are doing everything for the country. Like if you see the total crime, it is decreased, but still, if you take account for 1980 to 2015, if for the count of rape, if it was on 82,000, and then now in 2015 it was like 1 lakh 24,000. It's still not. that much less. It is keep on increasing. So we have to, everybody, as we thought, like everybody has to be aware what is happening around and why is it all those things happening. We should report and all those things. Everybody has to aware and let the things to get decreasing by the time.
Right. So the other thing that is notable is, so there is a difference between what is reported to the police and how many arrests or convictions are there. Many cases remain unsolved, and those people who do crime, they are on the streets. So that is the biggest problem. So in this slide, we can see that 8.13 million cases are known to the police, but out
Yes.
of those only 10%, 1.5 million are arrested, 1.1 million are convicted. So that means around 7 million people who have committed crime, they are on the streets, they are
Still on
not
the, yeah.
still by the police. So if we see the murder rates, so if we see from 1900 to 2019, almost in 100 years, so
Yeah.
still we can see like every, like 1950 what the murder rate was, so it is approximately the same in 2019. We have so much of a technology, we have such a good law enforcement system, all the people they are educated, have good life, but still these things are happening. So there are more things beyond this, like sometimes we read or listen in the news that due to race, some people of different ethnicity, they are being bullied, they are being
Yes.
murdered, they are being harassed. So we have to see that somewhere there is a disconnect, or somewhere there is a knowledge that is not being transitioned to the kids or the younger generation. They
Yep.
are not being provided good facilities, good healthcare system, or they are not away from the drugs. That's why they are committing these things. So this is a major thing. Like an incident happened 2 years ago in a city called Tracy in California. An elderly man, he was stabbed to death. So
Yes.
he was of a Sikh ethnicity. Still the case is not resolved, but those things, somebody who is walking in a park in the
Yep.
evening, so that person should not lose his life without any reason. So
Yep.
these instances we are seeing closer to our communities, closer to our home. So there is something that we should look into to stop these kinds of activities.
Very true. Very truly said. Because when we talk about these, like we talk, that comes into the racism criteria because where we have those kind of crimes happening around. But one thing which I want to say here about, like, okay, fine, we see all those things happening around us. We read those on the news, we hear them on the radios or news channels, wherever it's going on. We just go, what we do, like we go and listen and read all those things, and we said, this has happened to so and so people. We don't see ourselves on those foots, like we find this can happen to us as well. We are being a city, like any city, any country, or any streets, it can happen to anybody. We are not getting that aware. Whenever we see those kind of bad things, we just presume, okay, fine, this is not going to happen to us, this is happen to so and so peoples. So when we have to develop, when we are saying we have to develop, we have to see a broader picture. It can be anybody, victim can be anybody. Victims don't have the name or a race or ethnicity. They can be anybody because they don't differentiate between the persons or people that who they want to be become a victim, to made a victim as it, like, so that is what it is. Like we have to share the knowledge and share those things across the community. Or like, I know, because in, if you talk about Fremont City, because I know about the police, they have a like night outs and all those things where they gather the people, they share the knowledge, and they tell the people, okay, fine, you can get to us and we are easily approachable, and we do all those, like they are doing it, but still there is something lacking, which is not letting those crime rates to go down. So everybody, like everybody has to do their own kind of work to make it done.
Right. So somewhere globally sitting audience may be thinking that developed countries like US, they should not be having such crimes. But
Yep.
yeah, it's, they also face these kinds of issues, discrimination based on color, based on
Yes.
caste. So here we can see that one out of 800 people, or a white woman, she can get into some kind of struggle related to crime,
Yes.
but that number is very very high with respect to a black male. One out of 40 black males, so he will be impacted by a crime. If we talk about Chicago, so around 550 murders happen in 1 year. So that is very much comparable to Mexico. If everybody talks about Mexico, they
Exactly.
don't have that good of a law and order system. Like
Yep.
in Tijuana, Cape Town, it is almost 2,500 murders per year. So there is a problem. Not we can say Mexico or Tijuana; those are not developed countries. They have their problem, but
Yeah.
still United States, which we call is a very much developed country, it also has these kinds of problems. It also has gangs, it also has drugs, it also has depression, lack of education, lack of law and order in some areas. So we should be educated so that we are, whenever somebody coming from overseas or developing countries into a developed country,
Yeah.
they should filter out the locations where they want to live, because
Yes.
all the areas, all the neighborhoods are not that safe.
Safe.
So
Safe.
one should be opting those opportunities to live in a good neighborhood. Once you know the full area, full neighborhood, then one should plan to move around based on their situation. But choosing a good neighborhood, that is very important.
Yep. So yeah, like we said, we talked about different kind of crime. So we are seeing the U.S. the rape rates as we a new method is accounting for rape in the UCR reports was diverse to 2013. Police now get roughly 1,35,000 to 140,000 report of the rape per year, which is like a lot of the numbers. If you talk about US being the counting the population and all those things, roughly 80 to 20% of sexual assault cases reported to the police results in the arrest, and 80% of those individuals are convicted of something. Roughly, if you say like 50% conviction rate of rapes are known to the police. And thus, I want to put something else as well here. Like we know that all those crimes are happening around us. Even law and order knows all those things, but which we are aware might be wrong or right. But we are knowing that they are not getting the criminals because there is not enough space in the prisons. They know that if the someone is doing something of some kind of crime, if it is not that big, they don't have a space for those kind of uh, victims, like those people, those criminals which who are doing those crimes. They cannot put them into the prisons because there is no space. They differentiate between what kind of crime it is. If it is a big or so like that, then only they are going to put them into the prisons. Otherwise they are going let them go with a warning, and those people that, as you said before, they are again roaming freely on the streets and they can do the crime again and again.
Right. So now we kind of understood that even in a developed country, there is a lot of crime. Like here we can see that burglary, theft, auto theft. So those are at a high rate. But
Yep.
other thing we noticed that there is a discrepancy, or there is a difference between crime and what crime is reported.
Yep.
So there are some factors we have to deeply think, analyze, and these factors are in developed country, are in developing country. Why all the crimes are not being reported? Why all the crimes are not being chased at the same rate, so that all those who are culprit, they are behind bars, so that they get a lesson and others don't repeat those kinds of mistakes. So some of the things we can see that it's the department size. So in some cities we see, like if we talk about our neighboring cities like Mountain House, they don't have their own law enforcement. So
Oh,
nowadays we see many of the vehicles are being stolen, or their equipments are being stolen. So law enforcement has to be distributed as per the citizens. Then
yep.
the citizens trust in the police,
Yep.
so they have to do more efforts. Like in developing countries, we know there is very less or nowhere a trust between the law enforcement as well as the citizens.
Citizens.
In
Yep.
developed countries also, somewhere it is the same, because all the ethnicities, lots of people are immigrating from different countries. Law enforcement has to do extra step to make sure that everybody understands that they are for their health.
Yep.
Education level of the officers, that is one main thing as well. So I recently met somebody who was a cross culture. So
Okay.
he said that law enforcement do not know if somebody is from a Sikh religion, somebody is from a Muslim religion, somebody is from a Hindu religion. They don't know. If they
Wow.
see somebody who is not white, they just categorize them differently. They don't have that kind of education, because if we talk about Sikh religion, we have articles of faith, we have
Exactly.
turban, we have our articles of faith, the beard, we don't cut our hair. So those things depend on what the education has been given to the law enforcement, how they deal with those. Yeah,
Yep.
Harpreet.
Yeah. So because as you said, because this is main factor I can say, because they, if we are saying citizens are not trusting the police, because there can be that reason, because they are not even enough educated. I'm not saying everybody is not educated, but at some ratio they are not, because when we talk to them, like kind of as you said, sick religion, they want to reach out to them, and if they are not aware who they people are, who, which country or the from background, whatever they are from, they will not be able to differentiate between those things, of those kind of things. So that is for sure is needed. And then comes the confidence of the victim in the justice system, because as you said, we are just kind of piled up all those things when we don't trust them, because when they are not able to understand us, that who we are and how we can do all those things, when we don't have a confidence on them, that is, confidence is going to build up by the both of them, with the justice, like law and justice peoples and the citizens. They have to build like seminars or the culture activities or whatever they can do, the night outs and all those things, so that everybody knows each other, how they know about the each other's culture, and all those different kind of peoples live in their area. Because whatever people's the department is in whatever city they are in, they know around the criteria to find whatever kind of what kind of peoples we are dealing with, how the peoples are living and all those things. So that kind of confidence is getting built. If that is getting built, we know them, okay fine, we can reach out to them by the number or in person or whatever way we can reach out to them. But that need to be grown, like educated to them as well, for both the parties, I will say.
Right. No, but these are very important points. So we have to spend some time here and understand why these things are still happening in our society, like race of a victim. So we always heard, yeah, we came so long after hundreds and thousands of years away from the race, but this is still a challenge. Still, in if we talk about United States, so race-based crimes are always seen. So those
Yes,
black people we always see, they are treated differently, or somebody of a Sikh community or somebody from a other community, Muslim community, they are treated differently. So that
exactly.
lack of education that has to go away. So financial resources what the victims have, so that plays a big part also. So
Yeah,
if they are affluent, they may get away with a crime. So those things have to stop. So what the relationship of the victim with the offender is, so relationship of a victim with the law enforcement or the district attorney, so all those things come into play. So we have to make sure that everybody is treated equally. Harpreet.
yeah. So yeah, thank you, Gurdesh. So the together we when we are talking about all those reasons, so we have still listed a lot of other reasons as well. If you pick those, like unwilling to deal with the trauma of reporting, like it should not be that hard to the people that if they found something of, say if I'm not the victim but I saw something which is like a criminal thing which is happening around me or in my society, and I want to report that, it should not be that hard to go and reach out to them and then report them, and then it's like a kind of a trauma for them. Okay fine, how is this going to happen? It is like a big deal for them. It should be easily, they should be first of all easily approachable, and then when they're approachable, or if we some method kind of like go online and do this, even you don't have to go there, you can give a call, you can go online and report the crime, whatever you have seen around you, and that can be at least like escalated, or they know that go find something is happening, so that it's there in their record, like go find in this so and so area something is happening around that. So they will be aware of that, aware you have been victimized. Like if even you are the person who got victimized, sometimes people say, okay fine, this is not that big crime, I should not be reporting, or I don't know how am I going to treat it, what are the questions going to be asked to me. So people think, okay fine, I don't want to have go through all the hurdles to save my time and say, okay fine, this is not big deal and we will do my own steps. So those kind of things should be taken care. Everything should have some easy steps, and they should not be hesitate to reach out to you. Yeah, good page. Next.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there are ethnic and social barriers as well, as we have discussed. Like, if somebody coming from a different country, for example, if somebody coming from India, or we can say coming from Punjab, so
Yeah,
they do not know what to do in these kinds of situations,
yeah,
where to report. So education has to be there. So whoever coming to this country, they have to be educated that here law enforcement has a different way of functioning. So
yeah,
one can Google the resources where they can report. So there are different kinds of reporting systems. Like if there is an emergency line, if we talk about 911, there are non-emergency lines too. So if
yes,
you see something, if somebody bullies you, so suppose you are at a pizza store, somebody bullies you because of your appearance, because of your race, it is
yeah,
one's responsibility to get it noted. Because if some person is bullying a person, that person can harm another person too. It all
for
depends on
sure.
situation to situation. But
Yeah,
every small to bigger crime has to be noted, has to be documented.
yep,
So cultural factors also comes into play. Some cultures like don't want to report or don't want to spend their time in just giving a complaint. So but we have to be away from these cultural differences. We have to be kind of seeing the departmental policies, reading about them, so that we are making sure that all the crimes, all the issues that are being here, so those are addressed. And
yeah,
fiscal, how the financial resources are with the police department, that is the biggest challenge too. So in
yeah,
this COVID era, so luckily, so everything is going good with respect to the financial health. But if the financial health in a recession, it comes down, the first resources governments they try to cut is the federal sponsored or the state sponsored.
for sure.
So these departments has to be adequately funded so
Yeah.
that they can take care of their citizens. Yeah, Harpreet.
So yeah, so going down to the points, like, what if you see about mobility of police officers? So I want to like give a right example here. Like, when I heard that, okay, fine, someone is going to report some incident, and they was like, in our area, if I'm where I'm living in that particular area, they want to reach out to the police, like the law and order department, and they were like, can you send your officers in the round frequently, or say some time, like they should be there on those, so that the criminals or the people who are doing crime, they were aware, okay, fine, the police is going to be there around after so and so time, and like we cannot do something like that. But what we heard at that point of time, like, we don't have so much of the police officer in our department that we can send it to all over the areas. So that is kind of lacking and giving the chance to criminals. Like, they know that police is not going to be there so easily or that easily. They will take their own time because there is not enough recruitment, or the the people in the police law and order department who can reach out to those criminal areas if something is happening big on those areas. So and again, I think that when we have the point for department communication equipment, so even if you are not nearby, if you at least say someone, say one of those people are running nearby and they saw the crime, and they should equipment should be well established. I'm assuming that they are well established, and they should be able to communicate to each and every other department, not only the law and order. If something else is needed to chime in and they need some help from other departments as well, they should call them. They should let them know that they are so and so, that the place needs your help, and they should reach out to those places like that. Good
Yeah,
page.
no, absolutely. So we have looked into all these factors. So these
Yeah,
factors are not related to one city, these factors are not related to one county, but I would say across the globe, some of these factors correlate to somebody sitting somewhere. So
yes,
we have to be aware, we have to be educated what factors are in front of us. So if we say of law enforcement, they are not always up to date about their citizens. They have to take extra effort. Here, we citizens come into play. So if we are moving to a different country, different town, it's our responsibility also. We have to share about ourselves, our about articles of faith, what we believe in, what our thought process is, to do something extra to make sure we are doing our effort to educate those law enforcement, those policymakers, so that they are aware of us, because we are also putting the same efforts as the other citizens are. So once they know that somebody is in their town who has a different thought process, or who has a different ethnicity, who is belonging to a different race, they will start learning about us as well. So that will bring a harmony or a good culture between all of us, because we all share the same values. We have to be educated about one another. Harpreet.
So yeah, so as we are kind of getting to all the points, like it should be again, I want to repeat again, it should not be the case that when we read the news and we know about some crimes and all those things happening around us, we should not say, okay, fine, this is happening to so and so person. Just stand up to those person. If you see some crimes and all those happening around you, report them on basis of those persons who are getting victimized. Or if you are the victim, getting the victim for those kind of crimes, you should report those things, so people's in the law and order department, they know what is happening around their cities or the areas, and they can do the better solution for those incoming time. For sure, every people has to stand up for each and of us, for sure, to make a better community.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Harpreet. So we had a good discussion about the victimization, about the felonies, crimes. So, and some of the issues that are in front of us, so that we can think about them, we can brainstorm, read
Yeah,
more, and help each other around us, so that we are playing a responsible part as a good citizen, as well as helping each and everybody around us to spread information and awareness. With that, I'll thank everybody for watching. We will see you next week with a new topic. Till then, stay healthy, stay blessed. Thank you.